Did they hold the MSU meetings in Sealy?
MSU,
Muslim Student Union?
MSA.
MSA? What's that? I thought it was you.
Wait a second. We're not supposed to go. The Senate has one vote here. And so as we get cleared out, senators want.
Yeah, I know. And
All right, everybody, I'm going to bring the 17th regular Senate meeting to order. And with that, we're going to begin with the identification of the press, which sadly, there's not one at this point in time. So with that, we'll move on to student forum and announcements, beginning with Vice President Struck.
sorry, I thought you were gonna ask the question first.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. I had gotten, so Leslie Prideaux is one of the folks who is, works with like alumni relations at UNI. She is the president of the Alumni Association. She's just like works with alumni a lot, and she had emailed Samantha and I and asked if we were interested in recruiting folks for the Panther promoters, which I have a script from her. We need your help. We are searching for passionate UNI students looking for a way to help the university, help us promote the university and assist the advancement division by sharing events, programs, and activities with your network on social media. And then there's a webpage for more information to sign up. If you have any questions, please email me and then I have her email. We can't wait to see the impact that you'll make for UNI. This is a group of alumni, just Panther fans in general, students, current students, and just supporters of UNI as a whole, who can, you know, promote these things as the title would suggest. So I told her I would spread that on to you. I personally am not going to be doing it just because I definitely have a little bit of a full plate right now. But if any of you would like more information, please let me know and email me so I can get you connected with Leslie. But it's really good to be a part. Like if any of you know about like CAS, same type of work where you're working with alumni and getting them to know what's happening at UNI. Okay, that's it.
Are there any other motions to be recognized for student forum and announcements? I recognize the Director of Governmental Relations.
For those of you who are fans of parliamentary procedure or international relations, or really anything like that, the Iowa High School Model United Nations is ran by UNI. That's been going on since like the 60s, and this semester they're like really hurting for people. And so if you'd be interested at all, they meet Wednesdays at 5:30 in Searly 14. It's like the classroom directly across from Mark Nick's office. It's very low key. It's a student org, like any other student org. It's like very low commitment. It's actually really fun. You learn a lot about IR type things if you're for political science majors or just people interested up there. If you have any more questions, you can ask me. I've done it for a few years now.
Are there any other motions to be recognized for student forum and announcements? Going one more time. Yeah, if not, beautiful. I get ahead of myself sometimes, so I forgot to do the roll call thing. Our roll call question today is going to be, what's your favorite class this semester? Beginning with Senator Ferguson.
Oh, I was gonna say anytime.
Managerial accounting.
What was that?
Managerial accounting.
Interesting. Interesting. Senator Kretzinger.
Mine would be a guitar class. I'm not really a guitar person, but it's required for my major. So it'll be an interesting semester playing the guitar.
Senator Sperry.
Probably just my regular like cello lessons. I like those.
Senator Christensen.
My museum studies class.
What was that?
Museum studies.
Museum studies. Okay. Senator Protas.
My astronomy class.
Astronomy. I like it. Senator Miller.
My international relations class.
Oh, who's your professor?
The Renfro?
Yes.
What time do you have that period?
It's like, I think it's 12 every Monday.
That was
Wednesday,
more-
right?
Good class.
Pardon?
Good class. I took a lot there too.
Senator Amin.
Probably my writing for digital media class.
Senator Myers.
Probably the history of Imperial Russia.
Ooh, that's very fancy. Senator Tulu is absent, Senator Richards is absent, Senator Duong.
Probably my honors philosophy class.
Honors class. Senator Piper,
I'd say my teaching field experience class.
Senator Kivett is absent, Senator Dodgen,
Schools and American Society.
Senator Kosky,
Probably my worst lesson this semester.
Vice President Strzok,
This semester, oh my gosh, I'm watching it pan down. I would probably say, I don't like the classes. I like my personal selling with Martin Hanson. He's a funny guy. You know, it's like, I like him. He's got like a wine bar in Cedar Falls. Sorry.
Oh my
So he knows his alcohol.
Director of Diversity, Leila.
Religion and law.
Director of Public Relations, Rose.
Probably biochemistry lab.
Director of Governmental Relations, Zach.
Civil rights and liberties. It's pretty sweet.
Director of Civic Engagements, Anton.
It's a toss-up, but I'm gonna say money and banking.
Geneva
Probably my advanced Spanish writing class.
and Katrina.
Probably my chemistry class.
All right, beautiful, good to hear. Thank you for bearing with me in that. With that, we will move on to calls for changes to the order of the day. Are there any motions for calls for changes to the order of the day? Going one more time. And if not, we'll move on to the approval of last meeting's minutes. Here are the 16th regular Senate meeting minutes brought to you by our Deputy Director, Caroline Christensen.
Woo! Yeah.
Is there a motion for approval?
I motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All right, perfect. Thank you, everybody. With that, we'll move on to special business, of which there is none. So with that, we will move on to our guest reports, beginning with the president's reports. I am going to give it on behalf of President Bennett. So, office hours by appointment only. Hello, friends. She is not here tonight because she is very emotionally exhausted. Sometimes you are extra aware of the weight of your work and how important your influence is when it comes to getting your peers much needed, in parentheses, help. What she's been working on today, she's had her student fees proposals for 2 mental health GAs in the counseling center, one for multicultural and one for outreach. Mimi who participates in the Let's Talk initiative on campus and who's holding events in conjunction with the CME this semester, and then a new GA position that will assist with Active Minds, VAR training sessions, as well as work directly with RA staff for trauma, teaching and trauma-informed care, coping skills, help advocate on their behalf if working environment is toxic/harmful to their well-being. Few other points there. I'm not going to go into much detail because I don't have much information. She also, her other student fee proposal, mental health support for athletes. She circulated a survey, which got 152 responses and counting to help her with her proposal. It is funding for a contracted temp employee, a mental health practitioner from the Cedar Valley who would provide 8 hours of service 1 day a week for out of athletics facilities. And this highlighted, please know that I took this work incredibly seriously as I know how badly these resources are needed. These were the most important presentations I've probably ever given in my life, and I treated it as such. I want nothing more than to make people's experiences here better and to help them avoid any unnecessary pain. So please know I argued as best and as hard as I could for these items, and I truly hope that I was able to get it for you all. Moving onward, I haven't heard it.
Can I make a note just about her presentation?
Yes, you may go ahead.
Just, so I know not everyone has been super aware of student fees, that you all pay them in some way or another at UNI, but just to give you all kind of the depth of where Sam's proposal is, as far as also how it falls in line with other
other things. Things that like student fees pays for is like NHG has a $300,000 budget that we give out all that money out back to student works and stuff. And so that's like presented by Derek. And then in like addition to that is things like family weekend, they have, $10,000. And the offices that Mike oversees within the Maucker Union, the Panther Pantry, things like that. There's also athletics, which has a large budget because it also pays for jobs, it pays for our upper cabinets, stipends and things like that. So just to give you all the weight of like how important it was, especially as students don't typically give these presentations. So it's really great to see President Bennett today. I'm also saying this comes as co-chair, and I've been seeing plenty of really good presentations, but I really like hearing from Sam. So if you guys do see her at any point, tell her that she probably, I would also have told her she's done a good job, but tell her that, thank you again for like supporting students, and especially student athletes and students that just want more mental health support.
Thank you, Vice President Struck. Moving onward, President Bennett joined our legislative liaison team to go to Des Moines. I believe it went very well. Furthermore, research in the Capitol Day, February 21st. So her thesis project involves the work she's been doing surrounding mental health and student athletes, and her ongoing research has been selected to be part of the research presentation day the universities have at the Capitol. So she'll be able to talk to our legislators about the need for greater mental health resources for student athletes. She'll also be conducting further analysis on the data she collected to answer certain questions. Yes, Director of Governmental Relations.
I didn't know this is the first time I'm hearing of this. She didn't hold it.
Me as well, yes.
Same here.
Her thesis and documentation of the work she's been doing with athletes, the survey mentioned earlier, collaborative meetings with other universities, departments, is meant to act as a guide and the best recommendations for mental health resources you and I could implement to best help our student athletes. This is work she intends to pass along to the next administration to continue on. This is no longer relevant because Panther Pod did not happen today. COVID response team, wording of signage has changed. I don't know if you will have noticed. Masks, it now reads masks strongly encouraged instead of the little but not required at the bottom. Now reads masks strongly encouraged. If you see signage on buildings that still have that but not required bit, take a note of where that is because the university needs to, if you see the old signs, take note of that and inform the university so they can change that. The changes come because the Board of Regents changed their stance on not letting us omit the parenthetical bit. Kudos goes to Gabby Champion, one of our directors, for her work involving the Student Athletes Advisory Council and engage other student athletes in mental health work, and for working hard to represent her peers and help advocate for their needs. And her other kudos goes to Jennifer Schneiderman, who she presented at student fees with as well, for always being more than happy to meet with me and help brainstorm ways to get students more of the care they need, especially when limited resources keep us going back to the drawing board time and time again. It's with her help and guidance that they both were able to reach the fees proposals they did. And with President Bennett's parting words, we actually do owe each other things. We owe them kindness and decency and respect. Thank you, President Bennett. With that, we will now move on to the Director of Finance report, also given by me. Oh my gosh, wrong one. 3 registration bills tonight to be presented by the Organization Finance Chair, Senator Ferguson. At the next meeting, our Director of Finance attends. He will be giving an update on the budgetary process. Thank you, Derek. And with that, we will now move on to the Director of Governmental Relations report.
So last week I wasn't here because I didn't tell you guys because we just got back from the Capitol and I hadn't did a wrap up yet. But so the way that'll work for LLT is I'll kind of give you a wrap up of what we did last week. So that way I'm not like trying to work the same day. Last week it was Senator Mason Miller and myself at the Capitol. I wasn't really sure what to expect. Wasn't really sure how receptive the legislators would be, just because of things of the past and like last year and like how everything went down with that. But I think Mason can contest that they were very receptive, very friendly. he got to see, we got to go to the top of the Capitol, which is pretty cool. We didn't get to do that today, but I actually did want to do that again. I've done it a few times, but it's pretty fun. Going to the very top, you can see.
Hike up there,
My legs were like.
coming down hurts more than walking up.
Yeah, actually, this is Representative Bob Gressing is the one that took us up there. Like, he's one of the kindest ones up there. But these are all the ones that we talked to or made contact with. It was a really good first LLT day. I had been there the week before, but just kind of like scout things out. I didn't really talk to a lot of people. But yeah, every week I'll just put the ones that we talked to so you guys can track that. If you have any suggestions that you want us to talk to for any particular reason, go ahead. Sam, kudos go to Sam for attending my first Coffee Fridays, even though he didn't know that's what it was. I kind of baited him into it, but it went well. So that brings me into the next point. So the previous donors used to, it was kind of tradition for them to get coffee on Fridays. Like they would just like get it with their friends or like different upper cabinet members. But I just want to formalize the process and like make it open of like anyone who wants to schedule a meeting, just email my personal email. That's another thing. If you need to contact me, contact my personal email if you want a quick response. The donor email gets chock full of just random political things, and I have to sort through it if I ever want to reply to things. But so for Coffee Fridays, let's just scroll down. Oh, I can't even. How do I zoom out? Who knows?
The 3 dots in the upper right corner. Oh, you'll have to move the camera. Okay.
What's that? Everyone read that? Okay, so basically Friday, if anyone wants to, it's kind of a one-on-one thing, but if you want to do like a group thing, that's cool too. Just email me, we can walk down the sidecar, and literally you can rant for an hour. I'm not gonna say anyone's done that yet, but you can do that. And I'll buy your coffee, it'll be a good time. It's just kind of a chance for upper cabinet just to be more accessible, especially in my position, because I kind of hear a little bit about everyone's position, although I don't know exactly what they're doing at all times. But I've been around you and I for a while. I know things that go on here. Not going to say I'm the expert in conversations, but I do like talking to y'all. And I think if you'd like to hear it from Sam, I thought it was pretty cool. Oh, there's the next part of that. You don't have to drink coffee either. Like if you're like a juice, tea, like water person, like they have all that. They have really good tea. Sam got tea, and I like their tea too. When I'm not at coffee.
Water.
Let's do it. You can pick your own water if you want. If like you have a favorite water, you can go find it. It's on your site.
YOW.
I do, yeah, you guys specify that one. But I shall leave you with stay warm. It's cold. Like it quite literally gets cold. And you may think January's bad. February, it always comes packs punch. Yeah, that's it for this week. Any questions? Oh, and Turner, future kudos for bringing the string quartet to you and I did the Capitol to play in the Capitol building for that song.
Don't you have a name for them?
We're in the works right now. We have a member.
Terry's Quartet.
We have a member who's kind of had some injuries, but so that's why we're now a quartet almost. She's gonna figure it out tomorrow, but yeah, we might have to change the name. I don't know,
Oh, jeez.
but it'll be fine. I'll be good.
Oh, last minute kudos as well to Caroline for a great NARC book. I really liked it.
Thank you very much, Zach, our Director of Governmental Relations. Oh my gosh. And with that, we will now move on to the Director of Diversity Reports.
Hello, okay, so nothing much, some meetings got canceled last minute, I didn't know, so I went to the room, was there, so kind of sad. But we have some CAB events coming up, so there is a panelist going to Drake University on February 5th, a CAB casino event on February 8th, LGBT time, civic presentations, and the CME class starting from 12 to 1. On February 11th, there is a do you have any questions, you can leave, and I'll help you. Black History Month in February. So they have a bunch of stuff going on with the Black State Union. And this is their poster, so please come to their events, stay in your school, and that stuff. And my parting words are, our work will get you places that motivation can't, so keep going. Thank you.
And with that, we will now move on to our reports from the Board of Directors. Our reports this week is from the Director of Civic Engagement, and Tom Jenkins.
Yes, so usually every 4 years, you hear a lot of news about the caucuses. As you may not know, they happen every 2 years. It is not just the presidential election that happens. The most well-known role of the Iowa caucuses is that they bring every presidential hopeful that's on a national level to Iowa to campaign. Because many of them have won if they won Iowa. But another important bit of what the caucuses do is they are a party building activity. They decide on, at the caucus, every piece of the party platform for both parties, for both major parties in Iowa, goes through their caucuses. Also, every single person in the leadership of the parties goes through the caucuses. But obviously, this is a midterm year, so presidential selection is not a factor, even though it does happen every 2 years. Now, maybe you're wondering, why is this relevant to this? Well, it may not be an ideal thing, and many of us may have different ideas about what ought to be. Political decisions go through political parties, and whatever your political affiliation, nobody disagrees that this is a very critical moment in pretty much everything. So, and if you are involved, you can help shape what will happen in the next few years. Whether you think your preferred political party ought to stay the course and continue as it is, or change into something different and not be as, change it into something different that is new and does not have the problems of the old. If you are not involved in the caucuses, if you are not involved in the decision making, someone else would do the decision making for you. So the caucuses are happening they happen on the second Monday of every February in every other year. Both parties will caucus on February 7th at 7 p.m. starting at 6 p.m. You must be signed in by the start time to participate. Exact estimates, in most years, it can take upwards of 3 hours for really long ones, but as I have heard from the Democratic Party at least, I haven't been able to get in contact with the Republican Party. It can go, they're trying to keep it real short. Democrats will be caucusing at Lincoln Elementary School, which is across the river. And that is for the entire DC polls. And for Blackhawk County Republicans, it was much harder to confirm, but they're either at Pete Junior High School or Williams Junior High School, depending on where relation to campus you are. More information on this can be found on the websites. There are a few other things that you should know for doing things for the caucus. You need to be registered to vote as a member of the party, but you can register to vote at the during the signing process. You can also, if you are registered to vote somewhere other than where you were caucusing, you can update your registration on site to do that. Now, because of Iowa election law, you need to have an ID. Your UNI ID will not work for this. There was other information I wanted. There was other information I wanted to include here. As I said earlier, this is where the two major political parties build their platform, though it may not be the most important function of it. You can submit planks that can eventually make it into the state party platform, which I have done. I will be caucusing with the Democrats on the 7th, though, and I'm sorry if there's any information about the Republicans that I was not able to supply here. If there are any questions about this, please either let me know or that's not the correct procedure, ask me in a bit. But democracy is what we make of it, and currently there are a lot of people with their differing ideas of what democracy ought to be. As I said earlier, if you are not involved in the decision making, someone else will make the decisions for you. I think this is a very important thing, even though it usually does not get much attention. And I believe that will be all I have for now.
Engagements, Anton. With that, we will now move on to my report. Speaker report. Okay, so we have 2 Senate appointment hearings tonight. I'm very happy about that. I had to extend out the tables we had with everybody, so that's pretty exciting. Even though I do assume that this being so far into the term, this may be as large as we get, but we're happy to get everyone as many people as we can. I'm still looking for someone to sit on the Intercollegiate Academic Fund. If anybody wants to volunteer, please get in contact with me. As Anton went in, I mentioned it as well, Iowa caucuses, party platform building, definitely get involved if you're not already. Yes, Zach.
But does the Intercollegiate Academic Fund meet?
I am not 100%
It's
sure.
like once a month on Mondays from 3 to 4. I used to be on it.
Yes, Mike.
One of the, typically, they've changed a little bit. What they typically do is they grant funds to students as it relates to going to either participate or present at conferences. So it might be like a competition of sorts, not necessarily student organization, but more so in the academic area. So let's say, for instance, I'm a biology major and I want to go present at a regional biology conference, and I have a piece that has been accepted. They usually can fund you to do that presentation.
I recognize the Director of Public Relations.
Yeah, so kind of off what Mike said, I will be presenting some research I did over the summer in San Diego for a conference, and they help fund the flights and stuff for that.
I recognize the Director of Governmental Relations.
Yeah, I forgot what this was for a second, but yeah, I've used this many times. So I go to the Iowa Human Rights Council conference every year, who everyone should sign up for, because it's fun to go to. And like I've gone to like StratCom conferences and stuff and presented, and they pay for all of it.
I recognize the Director of Civic Engagement.
Yes, something I did not say beforehand. The Democrats, I don't know much about the Republicans, and the information is hard to confirm. But the Democrats have a document out on their website for printing out a platform that a plank platform that you would, if you want to print it out and fill it out beforehand, to streamline the process during the caucus itself. That was something I intended to include.
All right, thank you, Anton. So Intercollegiate Academic Fund, very important commission to sit on. So if you want to volunteer to be on it, please let me know. I'll take anybody that wants to do it right now. Going once. Trevor. All right, beautiful, perfect. All right, thank you very much, Trevor. I'll look more present about this. Okay, and with that, my kudos also goes to Zach for our coffee chat, or should we just call it a ranting chat?
Coffee Fridays.
All right. With that, we will now move on to the reports of the Senate, of which there is none. And with that, we will move on to the reports of the standing committees, beginning with, I recognize the Director of Governmental Relations.
Forgot the letter.
Oh, geez,
Yeah.
do you just want to?
Just do it now.
Okay, so we are way out of
I'm
round.
sorry.
No, it's okay. I will give as much detail as I know, so when I day at the Capitol, all the legislators get a, is it like a packet, a binder?
So they get like a folder on each one of their desks from the university, and usually NISG puts a letter in there directly to the legislators.
So I have the letter drafted right here, I will put it in this folder as well for all of you to view. But I'm not gonna read all of it because it's quite a long letter. So I basically just in the first paragraph, introduce what NISG is, what it's made up of, upper cabinet, board of directors, 26 senators, and then the judicial branch, what we do. I go into detail about what the president, vice president, and cabinet does. I got some of basically all of this information from the President Bennett and Vice President Trust platform. I then added what the Senate does, some different initiatives that have been worked on, free STD testing on campus, the Metro Products Initiative, mental health sessions, different things like that. I also added a small little snippet about what the judicial Supreme Court does, very important still. And then I end it with just a small little thing about how I don't even, you can read it on your own time, but Zach approved it, he said it's good. So this will be going to our state legislators to read, and it has go cats. All right, later.
Is it in the folder right now?
I can go ahead and do that right now. Okay, yeah. It is now in the folder for everyone to look at. There you are. All right, beautiful. With that, we will now move on to the reports of the standing committees, beginning with the Organization and Finance Committee, Senator Ferguson.
Yeah, so I didn't get my minutes in for this, but we went over 3 student orgs applications, and we have brought them, and we'll talk about them a little later. That is all we did.
All right, thank you very much. Then I will move on to the External Relations Committee report. So we met for the first time last night. It was just a quick, short meeting. It was very lovely to see everyone though. I'm awaiting approval from the Provost Office to be able to host meetings in the great reading room like the previous chairman set up. 2 senators, Senator Mead and Senator Duong, will be working on the newsletter and blog, and then me and Trevor collaborated to create the NISG letter for the legislators, and then at the bottom, Dover may have mentioned this, and then external relations will receive updates from the LLT about lobbying efforts. So that is all. That is what we are currently working on. Campus relations, I'm going to move on since you didn't meet this week. Okay, perfect. And then I will move on to the Government and Legislative Affairs Committee, Senator Corliss.
So we have a couple of bills coming up tonight. We are finishing work up on the Constitution. We are gonna start some work on some other projects and stuff. And if you see any other NISG documents that you see need something fixed, come to Gala and tell us about it. We will try and do something.
All right, thank you very much, Senator Corliss. Yes, because those documents drive me crazy sometimes. Okay, with that, beautiful. We will now move on to our legislative docket for tonight, beginning with the non-controversial docket. Our first piece of legislation is SSR 2022-21. I'm sorry. I recognize Senator Miller. What did I forget?
Motion for unanimous consent.
Can we wait for after the appointments? Okay, all right, sounds good. I will begin with SSR 2022-21. This is a resolution for appointing Geneva Bell as an at-large senator. Geneva, you can go ahead and come sit at the front here. I'm going to read the further recognizing portion because that's the part that I wrote in, but further recognizing that Geneva Bell holds extreme amounts of care and advocacy for marine life and how the impact of human pollution affects not only the life on land, but in the sea, and is prepared to enter office with ideas dedicated to sustainability and recycling, and as a transfer student is prepared to become involved and an active member of the campus. I will now hand over the floor to Geneva Bell to introduce yourself to the Senate.
Hi guys, I'm Geneva Bell. I have note marks and I don't forget what I say. So if I look down, that's what I'm looking at. So I'm a bio major with intent to go into marine biology, and I'm a Spanish minor. I transferred here from Harper College, which is about 30 to 45 minutes outside of Chicago. And eventually what I want to do with my degree is get my master's and eventually a PhD. I want to initially start in research, and then I want to eventually start my own nonprofit to help fund research about marine life and also work with Fortune 500 companies to reduce their waste into the ocean. And I transferred to UNI because originally my first choice was I wanted a university that was relatively reasonably priced so that I could fund my education to get a master's and PhD. And I do have friends that go here, so that was another thing that factored into me choosing here. I also really liked the campus size, and they have a pretty good bio program for what I want to do with a marine biologist on campus too. I decided that I wanted to be an NISG because I wanted to have some like bureaucratic type experience for a future company to be a CEO and run that. And I also want to help improve the school for other students. I have some experience being in officer positions in various clubs. And my proposed idea for initiative would be funding some type of way to gain awareness around recycling around campus. I know from some of my friends that Cedar Falls doesn't have like a recycling truck that goes to sort of like houses and picks up recycling. So I want to help fund like awareness around that and telling people where they can bring their recycling. And I also know that I live in Maucker and the recycling bin outside has like bars over it. And one of my friends recently told me that she didn't put her recycling there because there were bars over it. And my other friend said, you know, you're supposed to break down your recycling, right, to put it in there. And I just figured my friend's lived here for now almost 2 years and she didn't know that she's supposed to break down her recycling to put it in there. So I wanted to kind of raise awareness around that as well so that you don't have kids throwing recycling into the garbage because that does directly affect us and our planet. And obviously with me wanting to go into marine bio, that is very relevant to what I want to do. So what qualifies me to be an NISG, or at least in my opinion, qualifies me, is that in high school, we had a program called FAME, where it was pretty much like orientation leaders. So we ran orientation, we showed freshmen around, we acclimated them to the school. But then on top of that, we also ran our own classes of freshmen during our lunch periods, where we would pretty much help them acclimate, but also we would teach them about mental health. We would give them resources of where to go if they're struggling. And it was a really fulfilling position for me. And it also helped me learn to work with other people that I didn't necessarily know because I taught the class with 2 to 3 other people as well. I was also an officer for Pi Theta Kappa, which is an honor society for community college. And we did a project where we took our all online campus and we made Zoom calls that did game nights, movie nights, stuff like that for incoming freshmen that didn't know anyone on campus that helped them to meet new people. So I facilitated that and one of my responsibilities was obviously to make sure that everyone's participating, everyone's making new friends and raising awareness. We sent out emails to all of the teachers that taught freshman seminar classes. And we spoke during full honors meetings to help people get involved. And I was also vice president for our business and entrepreneurship club at Harper College. And we did various projects, such as one of our projects was we were partnered with a school in Iraq. And we actually had to come up with a plan to fund and create a business plan to solve a prevalent issue in the world or our country, their country. So for example, one of the proposed business plans was we created a webpage for women in Iraq because obviously it's very different from here. And we helped them have fund resources and we had websites to resources that they could use for education, and other various things like that. So yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Janita. With the introduction concluded, we will now move into a period of questioning from the Senate for our nominee. Are there any motions to be recognized for questions for our nominee Geneva Bell? Going one more time. I recognize Senator Corrales.
What would you consider your X factor?
What do you mean by that?
What makes you different than anybody else? What is like the thing that makes you special?
Well, it's a hard question. I just think that I am very passionate about the things that I do care about. So like, for example, like with marine biology, I actually switched my major to that because I originally was forensic science and I realized that I didn't want to be a forensic scientist and I always loved the ocean. And so I just feel like my passion that drives me towards things makes me different than everyone else because I just care a lot, if that makes sense.
Are there any other motions to be recognized for questioning for our nominee Geneva Bell? Going one more time. All right. All right, with the questioning period concluded, the Senate will now then move into a period of debate on SSR 2022-21, appointing Geneva Bell as an at-large senator. Are there any motions to be recognized for debate? Going one more time. And if not, I then motion the previous question, which allows us to move into a roll call vote on SSR 2022-21, beginning with Senator Ferguson. Senator Krutzinger.
Yes.
Senator Sperry. Senator Christensen.
Yes.
Senator Corrales.
Yes.
Senator Miller.
Yes.
Senator Amin.
Yes.
Senator Myers.
Yes.
Senator Duong.
Yes.
Senator Piper.
Yes.
Senator Dodgen.
Yes.
Senator Kosky. All right. With a vote of 12 yay, 0 nay, 3 abstain, SSR 2022-21 hereby passes. All right, Geneva, if you just stand right there. Pull up your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Geneva,
Promise to uphold and execute
promise to uphold and execute
the Constitution and bylaws of the Northern Iowa Student Government
the Constitution and bylaws of the Northern Iowa Student Government
and the duties of my position to the best of my ability,
and the duties of my position to the best of my ability,
and pledge to improve the quality of
and pledge to improve the quality of
the academic and student life of my constituents of the University of Northern Iowa.
the academic and student life of my constituents of the University of Northern Iowa.
All right, congratulations. All right, beautiful. And with that, we will now move on to SSR 2022-22. This is an appointment of Katrina Tunjan as an at-large senator. Katrina, I will only read the further recognizing since that's a part I make personal. Further recognizing that Katrina Tunjan already expresses an interest in improving and creating positive stress coping mechanisms for students on UNI's campus, as well as a flexible part of a team and team leader, and ensure she is always searching for changes she can create that will benefit the whole instead of the few. I will now hand over the introduction on the floor for an introduction for Katrina.
Hey, mine's not near as formal as hers. I'm Trina Tunjan. I'm originally from Sioux City, Iowa, so the other side of Iowa. I went to North High School. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Had a lot of fun there. I had a lot of experience with student government, and at the high school I was vice president of the student body.
I was also part of the multicultural club, recycling club, so I think you and I will get along, Geneva. As well as various other clubs. One position that was outside of my school that I had a lot of fun with was I participated in the hackathon competition. I don't know if any of you guys are into software design or app design, but some friends and I joined that competition through Creighton University. And the theme of the competition was to address mental health disparities within our communities, and we designed an app to, our focus was stress management because it's an academic setting, so it's a big factor that influences your success. And we actually placed first place in that competition. We weren't able to pursue the app because the competition guidelines and that kind of sucked. We all got really passionate with the app. But through my research there, I really discovered that when it comes to stress and mental health, there are a lot of resources out there, but it's so often that the resources are accessible, but they're not really attainable. They're not really something that people can typically make a habit out of. So my initiative would be to give people the tools that they themselves can utilize. There's a lot of things that we ourselves can do with our bodies, with our minds, to have a big impact on our own mental health. Yes, it's great to have outside sources. I think spreading more education about it, not just awareness, but just really giving people the tools to recognize and then address their mental health, I think is really important, especially in a college setting where academic stressors are very prevalent. Some experience I've had, like I mentioned, I was the team leader for that application competition. Yeah. I'm really nervous. I feel like I'm ready.
Thank you, Katrina. With the introduction period concluded, the Senate will then move into a questioning period for our nominee. Are there any motions to be recognized for questioning for our nominee? I recognize Senator Myers.
If you were to become senator here, would one of your initiatives to be maybe trying to create an app for the University of Northern Iowa students? And what would that look like in your opinion?
So that's actually something I would be considering. I'm not the best at app design. My friend, he's much more of the computer science guy, but I am very much so. I love to format things where it's accessible and then very easy. Because the big part about addressing health disparities is making it accessible to all individuals. Apps are usually typically accessible, but not everyone has a phone. I think with the percentage of people having a phone on campus, that'd be a great way to address that. I would be interested in creating the app because you and I just have a lot of resources, and I will recognize that, but sometimes those resources take time out of your day, and me thinking about having to set up an appointment with someone or having to go to the office stresses me out even more. So having the app on the phone, which just increases the accessibility, I think would be a really great tool for the University of Iowa. Northern Iowa, not Iowa, Iowa too. But I think that'd be really cool to incorporate, and I think we do have the means to do so. So I think that'd be really awesome if we could get that started.
Are there any other motions to be recognized for questioning for our nominee? Going one more time. All right. Thank you. With the questioning period concluded, the Senate will then move into a period of debate on SSR 2022-22, a resolution for appointing Katrina Tunjan as an at-large senator. Are there any motions to be recognized for debate? Going one more time. And if not, I then motion the previous question, which allows us to move into a roll call vote on SSR 2022-22, beginning with Senator Ferguson.
Yes.
Senator Kretzinger.
Yes.
Senator Sperry. Senator Christensen.
Yes.
Senator Carolus.
Yes.
Senator Miller.
Yes.
Senator Amin.
Yes.
Senator Myers.
Yes.
Senator Drumont.
Yes.
Senator Piper.
Yes.
Senator Dodgen.
Yes.
Senator Cossey. Senator Bell.
Yes.
All right. With a vote of 13 yay, 0 nay, 3 abstain, SSR 2022-22 is hereby passed. All right, stand over here. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Katrina,
Promise to uphold and execute
promise to uphold and execute
the Constitution and bylaws of the Northern Iowa Student Government
the Constitution and bylaws of the Northern Iowa Student Government
and the duties of my position to the best of my ability,
and the duties of my position to the best of my ability,
and pledge to improve the quality of
and pledge to improve the quality of
the academic and student life of my constituents of the University of Northern Iowa.
the academic and student life of my constituents of the University of Northern Iowa.
All right, thank you very much, Katrina. Next, we will then move on to our controversial docket, beginning with SSB 2022-41, returning for its second reading. And the Gala chair permits me to do, okay, thank you very much. All right, so just a quick review. This amends the Northern Iowa Student Government Constitution. So it changes executive branch into upper cabinet because that is the upper cabinet meetings and it includes the president and vice president, obviously. Under the president section, it instead of the president shall create a progress report of the student government in the fall and spring semesters and deliver it to the Senate and student body, it now reads, the president shall deliver a state of the student body address a minimum of at least once during their term and deliver it to a meeting of the entire Northern Iowa student government. It includes president shall be responsible for the Northern Iowa student government officials in the executive branch. The president shall have authority through executive order to remove any appointed member of the executive branch with a majority approval of the Senate. Moving on to the vice president clause. Under this, it says the vice president shall be responsible for monitoring and securing nominations for university presidential committees, campus committees, and academic committees, and may delegate this duty to other members of the executive branch or the speaker of the Senate. And that's all for this piece of legislation. I want to say some more. All right, are there any questions on SSB 2022-41? Going one more time. And if not, the Senate moves into a period of debate or amendment on SSB 2022-41. Are there any motions to be recognized for debate or amendment? Going one more time. And if not, I then motion the previous question, which allows us to move into a roll call vote on SSB 2022-41. Senator Ferguson, Senator Kretzinger.
Yes.
Senator Sperry.
Yes.
Senator Christensen.
Yes.
Senator Corollas.
Yes.
Senator Miller.
Yes.
Senator Amin.
Yes.
Senator Myers.
Yes.
Senator Dumont.
Yes.
Senator Piper.
Yes.
Senator Dodgen.
Yes.
Senator Kosky. Senator Bell.
Yes.
Senator Toojan.
Yes.
All right, with a vote of 14 yea, 0 nay, 3 abstain, SSB 2022-41 hereby passes. Right. And on to SSB 2022-42 for its second and final reading. All right, this amends more portions of the executive branch under powers and responsibilities. It eliminates executive cabinet, replaces it with upper cabinet. Under director of finance, instead of submitting a weekly report, it allows the officer to give a report a minimum of once a month. And it does the same for the rest of the directors. Under the director of public relations, it also eliminates that they will be responsible for the efficiency and upkeep of the executive offices of the student government. But furthermore, it just adds under each director required to give a report a minimum of once a month. Are there any motions to be recognized for questioning on SSB 2022-42? Going one more time. And if not, the Senate will then move into a period of debate or amendment. Are there any motions to be recognized for debate or amendment on SSB 2022-42? Going one more time. And if not, that allows me to motion the previous question, which allows us to move into a roll call vote. Senator Ferguson,
Yes.
Senator Kretzinger,
Yes.
Senator Sperry, Senator Christensen,
Yes.
Senator Carolus,
Yes.
Senator Miller,
Yes.
Senator Amin,
Yes.
Senator Myers,
Yes.
Senator Duong,
Yes.
Senator Piper,
Yes.
Senator Dodgen,
Yes.
Senator Kosky, Senator Bell,
Yes.
Senator Tunjan.
Yes.
All right, with a vote of 14 yea, 0 nay, 3 abstain, SSB 2022-42 hereby passes. On to the last legislative piece concerning the Constitution and bylaws, SSB 2022-43. This is an amendment to the impeachment and removal process for the Northern Iowa student government. It adds under, they must bring forth legislation for impeachment. It will fall under a student-sponsored bill, and the speaker shall preside over the first portion of impeachment. Upon proposal of an impeachment, the Senate will then vote on the choice to move into a closed session by a 2/3 vote. Closed session will require non-NISG members to exit the Senate chamber. I amended this small portion from last time to make it make more sense, because last time it did kind of make it sound like we included the advisor to exit the chamber. So now it reads, the NISG advisor shall remain within the Senate chamber during a closed session. It eliminates under this subclause 3, this will be a time for the Senate to hear the argument for the impeachment discuss. It adds in clause C, whether or not the Senate moves into an open or closed session, they will begin formal debate on the legislation of impeachment, following debate procedure outlined in the NISG bylaws, Robert's Rules of Order. Under clause E, it reads, now instead of bill, it reads, if the vote on whether or not to continue the impeachment process passes, because of above, it states that they will vote on whether or not to continue the process. The accused shall be notified of their charges and their accusers at least 1 week before the next Senate meeting. Clause F added to the NISG Supreme Court Justice will preside over the second portion. We added 2 subclauses under clause G. The accused defending themselves shall consist of a formal letter with an introduction, main body, and conclusion, which they will read to the Senate. After they read their formal letter, the Senate shall have the opportunity to question the accused. After the accused, we added under clause H, after the accused has made their case, the Senate will get a debate and then vote on the impeachment bill. This for the removal process, we added under clause A, a subclause to fully remove a student government member after impeachment, because impeachment and removal are 2 different things in these circumstances. The legislation will consist of a student-sponsored bill, and then to be reinstated, the reinstated legislation shall consist of a student-sponsored bill. Are there any questions on SSB 2022-43? And if not, the Senate will then move into a period of debate or amendment. Are there any motions to be recognized for debate or amendment? All right, and if not, I then motion the previous question, which allows us to move into a roll call vote. Senator Ferguson, Senator Kretzinger,
Yes.
Senator Sperry, Senator Christensen, Senator Carolus,
Yes.
Senator Miller, Senator Myers,
Yes.
Senator Duong,
Yes.
Senator Piper,
Yes.
Senator Dodgen,
Yes.
Senator Kosky,
Yes.
Senator Bell,
Yes.
Senator Tunjan.
Yes.
All right, with a vote of 14 yays, I recognize, oh my gosh, I missed you. Oh my gosh, I always do this, you guys. Senator Amin. Oh my gosh, she's so mad right now. I'm here.
You call her out like that.
Yeah, I'm like, why would I say it?
Because I already did it. True. The bill now passes. I know that the boards of the organization at finance here next read is beginning with SSB 2022-55.
So this is a student board that has about 10 members. They are a org that deals with mental illness or mental health, I should say, not illness. And they're originally part of a different org on campus. They're like a mental health fraternity, but they have now split and they are registered with their national org. They just need to be registered with NISG.
All right, are there any questions on SSB 2022-55, recognizing Out of the Darkness as a registered student organization at UNI? Going one more time. And if not, are there any motions to be recognized for debate on SSB 2022-55? And if not, I then motion for unanimous consent. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, and we will then move into a roll call vote for unanimous consent. Senator Ferguson.
Yes.
Senator Kretzinger.
Yes.
Senator Sperry.
Yes.
Senator Christensen. Senator Carolus.
Yes.
Senator Miller.
Yes.
Senator Amin. Senator Myers.
Yes.
Senator Duong.
Yes.
Senator Piper.
Yes.
Senator Dodgen. Senator Kosky. Senator Bell. Senator Tunjan. All right, I didn't skip anybody. With that, then we get to a unanimous consent. Is there any objections to the passing of SSB 2022-55? Going one more time. And if not, the bill passes. All right, we then move on to SSB 2022-56.
Yes, so this is the Senior Citizen Student Alliance. Basically, it's an org that helps senior citizens, as in the name. And then also on the, as you can see on the bill, there's 8 students interested. That's all for that.
Are there any motions to be recognized for questioning on SSB 2022-56, a bill for recognizing Senior Citizen Student Alliance as a registered student org at the University of Northern Iowa? And if not, oh my gosh, I don't need to do that, do I? That would count as objections. So with no questions or objections, the bill now passes. All right, and with that, we move on to our last piece of legislation for tonight, SSB 2022-57.
So this is the Buddhist Student Association. There are 2 members. Basically, they just want to spread Buddhism onto UNI's campus and get people that are interested in Buddhism and the Buddha as that whole, more information about that. So if they're interested, they can go to that. So, yeah.
Are there any objections to the passing of SSB 2022-57, a bill to recognize the Buddhist Student Association as a student org at UNI? And if not, the bill then passes. And with that, we move on to old business, of which there is none. And with that, I now bring the 17th regular Senate meeting to adjournment. Speak to the 2 newbies, I'm sorry, 2 new senators. And Sam, could I talk to you as well?